You get an email at 8:12 in the morning. Subject line, "Your cashback is here." You don't remember signing up for this card's rewards program. You do remember buying groceries. You do remember buying a crib for a baby who isn't born yet. You do remember Googling a divorce lawyer at 1 a.m. 3 weeks ago. You open the email out of habit, not interest. There's a banner ad inside it. A lawyer. Divorce mediation. First consultation free. You stare at it for a second longer than you should. You never told the bank you were getting divorced. You told a search bar, but the search bar and the bank turned out to be talking to each other the whole time. You don't think about it again until the phone rings that afternoon. Unknown number, local area code. You almost don't answer. You do. A man's voice, warm, professional, says he's calling from your bank's fraud department. He knows your name. He knows the last 4 digits of your card. He knows you made a purchase at a hardware store 9 days ago for $214.63. You didn't tell anyone that number. You barely remembered it yourself. He asks you to verify your identity by confirming a code that's about to be texted to you. You do. 90 seconds later, $2,400 leaves your account. He wasn't from the bank. He knew things a stranger shouldn't know. He knew things only your bank should have known. You call the real fraud line. A different voice, flatter, reads from a different script. She says the transaction is under review. She says these calls are common. She says scammers are getting good at this. She doesn't say how he knew your exact purchase, your exact balance, your exact name spelled correctly. She doesn't say because the honest answer would cost the bank money to admit. The scam wasn't a guess. It was a match. Somewhere, a list existed with your name on it, and 2 very different companies were both holding a copy. This is level 1. You think the enemy is the man on the phone. It isn't. The man on the phone is a customer. Your bank is the vendor. Every swipe of your card is a data point before it's a transaction. The bank knows you bought a crib. The bank knows you searched "affordable lawyer near me" through its own app's built-in browser feature, the one that promised faster checkout. The bank knows what pharmacy you use, what time you get paid, what subscriptions you let lapse when money got tight. None of this is a leak. None of this is a hack. This is the business model working exactly as designed. Your bank has a department whose entire job is packaging you, not your money. You, your habits, your stress points, your life events, sorted into categories buyers will pay for. You picture data brokers as men in dark rooms. They're not. They're companies with names like weather apps, names like loyalty programs, names like the extended warranty offer that popped up after your last purchase. Your bank sells access to categorized behavior. Recently searched divorce attorneys, made a large purchase inconsistent with spending history, missed a payment in the last 90 days. These aren't insults. These are product categories. And once a category exists, anyone can buy a subscription to it, including people who don't want to help you, including people who want to become the voice on the phone that already knows your last purchase. You didn't get scammed because you were careless. You got scammed because you were profitable twice. Once when the bank sold your data. Again when someone used that data to take the rest. Level 2. You start paying attention now. You read a privacy policy for the first time in your life. 11,000 words. You skim until you find the sentence buried on page 7. We may share your information with third-party partners to enhance your experience. Enhance your experience. You reread it 3 times. It doesn't say sell. It never says sell. It says share, partner, enhance, optimize. The words are chosen the way an eviction notice is chosen to say non-renewal of lease, instead of we are putting you on the street. Language built to be technically true and practically unreadable. You call to opt out. The representative is kind. She reads you a different script this time. One about opt-out forms and processing windows of 30 to 45 days. You ask why it takes 45 days to stop something that took 0 days to start. She doesn't have an answer written down for that one. You can hear her not having it. The opt-out exists because a regulator required it exists. It was never built to be used. It was built to be defensible in a hearing. You opt out anyway. Nothing changes. The targeted ads keep coming. A text message arrives 2 days later from a number you don't recognize, offering a loan consolidation review based on your current financial profile. You never gave this company your number. You gave it to your bank in 2019 when you opened a checking account to receive a paycheck. That's all you agreed to. Direct deposit. Somewhere in the years since, that single piece of information became 40 companies deep, and every single one of them still has your number, even after you asked the first one to forget it. Opting out of the first sale doesn't undo the fifth resale. Your data doesn't return home. It just keeps traveling further from the door you opened. Level 3. You start noticing the pattern in other people's lives. Your mother, 71, gets a call from someone claiming to be her bank's security team. He knows her account balance to the dollar. He knows she made a withdrawal last Tuesday. He tells her there's suspicious activity and walks her through securing her funds by moving them to a new account he controls. She's not confused. She's not naive. She's targeted with information specific enough that disbelief stops being rational. If a stranger knows your exact balance, the stranger sounds like the bank. That's the entire scam. Not deception, precision. Precision borrowed from a system that was supposed to protect the number, not distribute it. You start reading the news differently now. Every headline about a data-sharing partnership reads like a different word for the same transaction. Every innovative financial wellness tool reads like a category of person being sorted and sold. The bank's app that offers you budgeting tips isn't a gift. It's an instrument, quietly logging every merchant, every location, every hour of the day you spend money, feeding a model somewhere that predicts what kind of offer will land on you next, and who else might want to know that same thing about you. Level 4. The truth stops being about individual leaks and starts being about architecture. Your bank isn't one company holding your data. It's the center of a wheel with dozens of spokes, marketing partners, data analytics firms, credit modeling companies, fraud prevention, vendors who ironically hold the same information the fraudsters end up using. Every spoke has its own vendors. Every vendor has its own vendors. Your information doesn't sit in a vault. It moves through a supply chain, the same way a shirt moves through cotton farms and factories and shipping containers before it reaches a shelf, except nobody labeled where your name came from, and nobody's required to. Somewhere in that chain is a company whose only job is compiling risk profiles for other companies to buy. Somewhere in that chain is a marketing firm that resells lead lists to companies running exactly the kind of scam that called you at 8:12 in the morning. The bank doesn't sell to scammers directly. That would be a scandal with a name attached. Instead, the bank sells to a legitimate-sounding partner who sells to another partner who sells to a list broker who sells to whoever pays, no questions asked, because by the fourth sale, nobody's checking who's buying anymore. By the time your information reaches the man calling about your hardware store purchase, your bank's name has been laundered out of the transaction 3 times over. Plausible deniability isn't a side effect. It's the product. Level 5. You learn the number. The credit reporting industry alone generates billions of dollars a year, and a meaningful share of that comes from data these institutions already had a legal right to hold and no obligation to protect from resale. Financial data is one of the most valuable categories that exists, because financial data isn't just what you like. It's what you can afford, what you're desperate for, what you're one bad month away from needing. A company that sells you shoes wants to know your taste. A company buying financial behavior wants to know your vulnerability. That's a different kind of profile. That's the profile scammers pay the most for, because a scared, indebted, recently divorced, recently hospitalized person converts better than a stranger. The bank isn't selling your shopping habits, it's selling your weak points, wrapped in a spreadsheet, marketed as customer insights. Level 6. You finally understand why the fraud call felt so real. It wasn't a lucky guess dressed up as knowledge. It was knowledge, purchased fair and square from a company you trusted with a debit card, laundered through 3 resales until it reached a call center that used your bank's own accuracy against you. The bank's fraud department will tell you to watch for suspicious calls. The bank's data department is the reason the calls stopped sounding suspicious. You picture the man on the phone again, the one who knew your exact purchase down to the cent. You used to think he broke in. He didn't break anything. He bought a ticket. The door was open, and your bank sold tickets at the door for years. Quietly, legally, in a privacy policy nobody but you and maybe one lawyer ever fully read. Somewhere right now, someone is opening an email at 8:12 in the morning. A banner ad for a lawyer they never searched for out loud. A phone call from a stranger who knows their balance to the dollar. They'll think they got unlucky. They'll think a criminal found a crack in the system. There was no crack. There was a transaction. Their bank sold them, quietly, legally, to someone who was always going to use it against them and called it enhancing their experience. The scam didn't start with the man on the phone. It started with the sentence on page 7 nobody read. The bank isn't the victim of these scams. The bank is the first sale.